Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon White. So, in the last part, we only really did the much needed training for my team in the big stadium and small court. And now this time, yeah, I am gonna be finishing things off. Well, finishing things off for the day/week anyway. Yeah, in terms of getting my Pokemon up. Yeah, but trust me, I will be back here later for not only getting my Pokemon, more levels, but also, of course, so I can actually try to show off even more Pokemon from these trainers that we're going to be fighting against here, Oh, hi! Wow, alright. Literally, in the last part we saw Cleffa, and now we have Clefairy. Yeah, isn't that something? But anyways, as you can see, yeah, Clefairy's sprite is also original as well. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, Clefairy really likes to do a little yeah, he essentially does their little dance, essentially almost the equivalent of when they are utilizing metronome. Yeah, yeah, metronome. The move that can essentially be any attack ever. Yeah, and Clefairy really likes to do that, to do those sorts of dances. Oh yeah. Oh wow, and we are already getting the final evolution of Cleffa already. Yeah, that was incredibly fast. Yeah, now we have Clefable. Yeah, now which also has an original sprite as well. So yeah, we have already have discovered. Yeah, we've already found not just Cleffa, but also Clefairy and Clefable all already. Yeah, that was incredibly fast. Yeah, and I mean incredibly fast. But anyways, everyone, now next we are just going to be continuing with the training here. Now I guess I should go over some of the other Pokemon that I still have yet to talk about. Now, last time I went over Caracosta. Now, next up is Zoroark. Now, Zoroark. Now, during the Black and White anime, didn't exactly. Its first ever appearance that Zoroark got was of course the Zoroark movie. But then during the actual Black and White series, Zoroark only really got one appearance. Yeah, Zoroark only got one appearance during the entirety of the Black and White anime. Yeah, and it was it was in the episode where it actually bonded with a Nurse Joy, and a Nurse Joy for way back when not only the Zoroark was just a Zora, and also back when that Nurse Joy was a lot more younger. Yeah, but yeah, now they actually start working together. Really? That's the third Pokemon we've encountered in post-game so far who utilize frickin' Explosion. But thankfully, this isn't the one that just instantly KOs my Pokemon. Or uses it very idiotically. Wow. Again, that's 3 freaking Pokemon who have utilized Explosion in post-game already. And we just freaking started, man. Man, these Pokemon really want to make sure that my Pokemon do not get any sort of freaking experience at all. Jeez. But anyways, everyone, now as you saw as well, now we also just saw Voltorb. Now, as you saw from that Voltorb, Now, now as for Voltorb's sprite, yeah, it looks like it is original, but I would say it is essentially a flipped version of its a Diamond and Pearl sprite, where it is essentially almost identical to its Diamond and Pearl sprite, but instead they just flipped. But instead they just like flipped the image around. Yeah, so they can make sure that Voltorb's actual body is actually looking at the opponent. Yeah. But anyways, everyone now, back to what I'm saying about Zoroark. Yeah, but anyways, but then after that, for one episode in the Black and White anime, Zoroark did not make any other appearances in the anime until the Alola series, where we actually learned that a Zoroark that used to belong to Gladion and Lily's father. And so, Gladion, so after hearing about it, Gladion decided to search for that Zoroark, and which he actually did find it. And then after that, he actually used that same Zoroark in the Alola League. Alola League. Yeah, he used that Zoroark in his Alola League battle against Ash. Yeah, but then after the Alola series, yeah, the only Zoroark we really saw in Journeys was actually the very same Zoroark from it. It was actually the very same Zoroark from the Alola series. And then after that, now we have seen Zoroark at least a few times, at least 2 or 3 times in Horizons. Because one of the teachers in Paldea, Rhyfort. We do see her with her Zoroark, in the anime. So yeah, as you can probably tell, yeah, even though Zoroark didn't exactly get that much attention that it really needed during the entirety of the Black and White series, but however, after that, it definitely did. Well, actually, Zoroark was... Now, while we did get to capture a Zoroark within X and Y, but not so much of appearing in the actual anime. But the Alola anime is where really all of the major love Zoroark really got. Well, yeah, that was actually really the major attention that Zoroark really got. Thank God ever. But anyways, now on to Kling Klang. Yeah, Kling Klang also doesn't... Yeah, just like its pre-evolutions, yeah, Kling Klang doesn't also get that many appearances in the anime. Yeah, there was that one Kling Klang that appeared in the Victini movies. And then there was, of course, that one Kling Klang that got its gear stuck. That actually got its gear stuck within that same episode where we got the trait evolution of Shellman and Carablast. And then and that was really it, really. Well, actually, there was one Kling Klang that did show up within the... Yeah, pretty sure we saw not only Klang, but also Kling Klang within the Zarude movie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw at least one of them in that movie as well. Yeah, I honestly, I forget if we did or didn't. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, like I said, Clink doesn't really appear in the anime that often. And then as for Archeops, the only major appearance that Archeops got was indeed that it was in the same episode where we first saw Archeon. Yeah, in that exact same episode where we got the debut appearance of Archeon. Oh yeah, and then we saw some Archeops during the 2-episode arc with Tortuga and Caracas as well. But after that, nope. We never saw Archeops ever again after that. Yeah, we never really saw. Yeah, we've never seen Archeops even after that now. Yeah, which is honestly a darn shame because. Honestly, I would love to see more of Archeops. Yeah, but unfortunately we don't. But unfortunately we don't get that ever. But anyways, now lastly, as for the Gen 5 Pokemon, that's until we get to encounter some more after this, is indeed Hydreigon. Now, Hydreigon has definitely made quite a lot of appearances within the anime series. Now, first off, Hydreigon's first ever appearance was during the Victini movie, where we got to see in one version of the movie where we actually got to see a shiny version of Hydreigon. And then in the other movie, it's not shiny. Yeah, those two movies did essentially... Yeah, they essentially swapped the shiny color palettes between Golurk and Hydreigon. Hydreigon. Where for one movie we saw Hydreigon shiny, and in the other movie, we saw the Golurk as a shiny. Yeah, I don't get why they chose to swap their colors, even though they essentially played the exact same role anyway within that movie. So, yeah, I honestly don't get why they chose to do that. But anyways, everyone, now that we are done with for the training. At least for now, anyway. Now we're gonna see what we can do. You know, considering that it is essentially the start of post-game. Now, after you're done with... Oh yeah, first off, the Outbreak. Route 4. Alright? Alright then, so I may as well go back there first. Yeah, because considering that obviously I do not want to end up missing that. So, now I'm just gonna go find that Pokemon now. Now, for those of you who have seen my area when I first went through Route 4 the first time, yeah, you could definitely know, yeah, you obviously know which Pokemon that I'm going to be encountering here. But anyways, back to what I'm saying about Hydreigon. Then when it comes to the main series of Black and White, the first ever Hydreigon appearance was during an episode where Iris returned to the village of dragons, and her good friend from childhood, was taking care of these two Swilus. Yeah, yeah. I guess I should point this out, considering that I'm probably not going to be encountering this Pokemon like ever during this whole entire game. Yeah, the middle stage of Dino is actually called Swilus. Yeah, and that was also the debut appearance of Swilus as well too. Yeah, but anyways, now within that same episode was when one of the Swilus evolved into Hydreigon. But then, considering that it was surprised that it actually evolved, it actually started to go on a rampage. Yeah, but anyways, but as you see everyone, Hippopotas. Yeah, now Hippopotas essentially utilizes the same sprite that it used, that it had within Diamond and Pearl. Yeah. But anyways, everyone, now back to Hydreigon again. Now, after that episode was when, now, the next appearance that we really got for Hydreigon after that was during the Unova League, when Ash faced off against Cameron. The first Pokemon that Cameron sent out was actually a Hydreigon. And he was dominating with that Hydreigon for a while. But that is until they got defeated soon enough after that. But anyways, now Hippopotas, the Hippo Pokemon. Yeah, Hippopotas is indeed a hippo. But anyways, as I was saying about Cameron's Hydreigon. Now, that Hydreigon destroyed Ash's Boldar, and also Oshawa as well. But then it was until when Ash sent out his Pick 9 and essentially finally KO'd that Hydreigon. But anyways, now that I'm done with that, now what I'm gonna go into now is actually back to Route 5, because look who's here. Yep, we have Cheren. Yeah, very soon. After we just saw him back in New Town. So yeah, Cheren is essentially questioning his journey about, that he's definitely learned a lot ever since he actually started his journey, where at first he only wanted to pursue the ideal of strength only. But then after going through this journey, and after meeting especially after meeting Alder, he really is now questioning and that's when he really thought about not only his strength but also his whole entire journey as well. And then and also now, if you want to get yourself into with that battle again with Cheren again, you actually have to go here and talk to him you actually have to go here and talk to him. So then he'll go off to the then he'll go off back to the Victory. Then he'll himself off to the Victory Road. Then that's when we'll actually get to have ourselves our next battle against him. But however, I'll do that much later, cause I'm definitely not strong enough for me to face up against Cheren right now. I'll definitely will save our battle with Cheren for another time. But anyways, now for our next stop in terms of the stop that I'm somewhat going to be doing in terms of a post game. When it comes to the daily things that you can do during the post game of Black and White, is that. Yeah, you remember the guy back in Twist Mountain that I talked about? Yeah, this guy? Where I said he'll give you something special, like once you actually get to post-game. And this right here is it. Now, for once per day, he'll actually will give you one of the previous Pokemon fossils. Yeah, considering that we just got ourselves a Helix fossil. And he says right here, and he said right there, to essentially, I come back tomorrow, so that he will give you another one. Yeah, now, and getting all of the other fossils of the previous Pokemon gens, yeah, that right there is the only way that you can actually get fossils from. Now, the fossils that you get from this guy, the fossils that you get from that guy is completely random. Alright, oh, that's right, we also get this as well, too. Now, once you are done with the main story, yeah, more wallpapers will be added for you to utilize for your PC boxes. For you to utilize for your PC boxes. Yeah. But anyways, as I was saying, the fossils that you get from that guy are completely random. So, you may end up getting the same fossil over and over and over again. Yeah, and since you can only get one fossil per day, yeah, meaning that you essentially have to ensure that you get incredibly lucky, so that you can try to get so that you can try to get all of the previous Pokemon fossils. Yeah, all of the previous fossil Pokemon. Yeah, but anyways, there's the one. Now for the Helix fossil, we now got ourselves a lovely Omanyte. Now with Omanyte, now his spry, I think it's the exact same spry that he's always had. Yeah, even way back in Generation 3. But instead, it is just a little bit more updated. And as you'll see, yeah, Omanyte really likes to move. He really likes to move around like he's swimming, swimming up and down and whatnot. But anyways, now back to what I'm saying about Hydreigon. Then okay, so after Cameron's Hydreigon, I believe that was the last Hydreigon we saw during the entirety of the Black and White anime. Oh wait, I forgot. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Before that episode where one of those Swilas evolves into Hydreigon, before that, we actually did get to see a Hydreigon battle against the Dragonite that soon. That within that same episode, got caught by Iris. Yeah, yeah. So that was actually the debut appearance of Hydreigon. But anyways, now here's where I'm gonna end this off. So for the next part, we're finally gonna see what is in store for that for this big ship. And so to the next part, I'll see you guys next time.